All right, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Good Life Small Business Podcast. I am your host, Brian Blakely, and I am pleased to be joined today by Abbie and Diego Castaneda, who are the owners of Rooted Plant Company here in Kearney. So, guys, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for sitting with us.
Yeah. So let's get into it here a little bit. Get to know you a little bit better. What books are you guys reading right now or listening to, if any?
Yeah, that's a hard question. We have 3 boys, so we don't really have a whole lot of time to read. We have been binge watching New Girl, though, on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Besides children's books, it's kind of hard for us to sit down and find that time to read.
Yeah.
But we'll get better at it.
Yeah.
I've said it before that I don't read because if I start to read, I'm asleep in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I usually listen to audiobooks if I'm traveling or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. How about podcasts?
We actually really got into true crime podcasts, especially when we were working here and doing all the painting and everything. We were listening to Crime Junkie. And then what was the other one?
Oh, shoot.
Morbid.
Yeah.
So we did some true crime podcasting. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really sucks you in.
Yeah. I've listened to one of those before. And it's a true story, but it has a couple twists and turns. And it really does suck you in. Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Those are good.
They are.
So we spent many late nights in here, getting fresh paint down, and it was all dark in here, and it just kind of helps set the scene as well as when we're listening to the podcast. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into it. I'm really excited to hear your guys' story, to get to know you a little bit better. You have an amazing store here, and just kind of, I guess, tell us your story. I read a little bit about it, but from vision to reality, how Rooted Plant Company came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that it started with me, definitely. When Diego was in the Marine Corps, we were stationed in California when we first got married, and then we moved to North Carolina. And both of those are pretty warm climates, so, there's a lot of all year-round plant nurseries there.
Sure.
So I really got into growing my own succulents and propagating those, and that's kind of what kept me busy when I stayed home with the kids, and he was working his late hours. So then when he got out of the Marine Corps, we moved back here, and I brought as many of my plants with me as I could, and just continued to, propagate succulents, and then I started selling them on the marketplace, and then I decided that I wanted to turn it into a business, so I kind of just continued doing that, but made it legit. Mm-hmm. And then this last year is when it really exploded for us, and he started helping me out because it was just a lot more than I could handle on my own. And we kind of did, I call them garage sale style plant sales. So we would drag all of our plants out from the greenhouse, put them in the driveway for a couple hours, like once, maybe twice a week. And it took off. And we have our customers that would go to our house, come in here, and I'm like, thank you for coming to our sketchy plant sales that we used to have. And being one of our first customers, it really means the world to us. So.
Yeah, and then for me, I just... a lot of it, like when I was helping her set up, doing different displays out in the driveway, or doing like potting arrangements. We're getting together for Teacher Appreciation Week last year, working out of our house, and I was kind of helping her with that. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. It's kind of therapeutic in a sense.
Yeah.
For me, it's just I've always just been go, always doing something. Always I have a task that I have to accomplish here at this time by this, checkpoint basically, and so it was really good to slow down. So I started getting more into it, like I already said, setting up the displays and everything, like, oh, this will look good here. And the little experience I have with salesmanship and stuff, like I just kind of took it and ran with it, and it's just become really fun. It's like Abbie said, it's just grown, and it's just continues to grow, pun intended.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So talk about the transition from, your house to here, had you guys been looking for a location for a while?
We kind of dreamed about it. We talked about it and said that would really be our next step, something we would really like to do. And we would just kind of drive around town and look at all the buildings that were vacant and be like, that would make a really good plant store.
Yeah.
So we kind of looked at a couple places with Kyle Smith Realty, but nothing really spiked our interest too much. And we would drive by this place all the day because we live just down the street.
Yeah.
And so then one day it just came up for sale, and it was the perfect building for us.
Yeah, and especially more so for me, I'm the one hauling the tables out, I'm hauling the displays out. I'm like, all this just for a couple hours to go back in. I'm like, we got to find something more permanent. And of course, we knew that especially with Abbie's just brilliant mind, she always just has different ideas to bring to the table. So I was like, yeah, let's, we need to get something. And like she said, this became available. We drove by, and I was like, all right, I'll make the call. And we started going and working from there. And it was quite the journey, but I mean, it's all worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and then from there just began lots of moving pieces that had to fall into place. And
yeah,
here we are.
Very cool. So have you always had an interest in plants?
I would say yes. So my mom has worked at a floral for basically my entire life. So I kind of grew up around that. And then when we were in California, my interest was more into different types of herbs. Okay. So I would find all of the random plant nurseries in California and make him drive me there. And so we had a little herb garden, and we had some citrus trees that we grew. And then, when we moved to North Carolina, it just moved into something else. And then we moved back here, it turned more into houseplants. So it's just always kind of revolving.
Yeah.
Evolving. Yeah.
For me, it was just kind of like my mom had some plants here and there. And like, now that I know what they are, I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't really truly appreciate that we had this certain tree over here, this this vining plant over here. I just kind of thought they were kind of like annoying, because it was more so a chore for me to take care of and water. But just kind of grew from there.
Yeah. So being California, then North Carolina, then here in Nebraska, I mean, there's quite the variety, and there's probably a lot to learn along the way.
Definitely.
And things like that.
And plants all grow differently in different climates. So people giving advice on plants in California is going to be totally different than what you need to do here in Nebraska.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's always a common question. So how do I take care of this? And a lot of it we lead off with, it just kind of depends on the conditions, where it's going to be at, how much light it's getting. Is it going to be close to a vent? Is it going to be far away from a vent? Where's it going to be at? And then the conditions of the dirt play a vital role in that plant's health. So it's no two plants are the same. Generally cares like right about the baseline, but they're all going to different homes with different conditions. So it's kind of hard to give that exact advice. So
got it. So I think it's interesting where married couple owning a business. Talk about your guys' roles and how they're different, how maybe they've evolved since you've opened up the business. Just kind of talk about that dynamic, because I think it's interesting for everyone to hear.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. I'll take this one.
Okay.
It's been a lot of fun because it's like, yeah, we do take our work home, but
we try not to, but it's inevitable.
It's usually just some planning. What can we do? Some, it's what direction can we go with next? And it just becomes just really fun, just bouncing ideas off of each other. And I feel like it's even our communication on just a general marriage level has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
We're both in our happy place per se, and we get to bring our kids here, and so it's been good. It's a good working relationship professionally, and then outside of here we can still cut that line of divide to where it's not overwhelming us, but we're still able to function healthy, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, we still butt heads a lot. I mean, we're here all the time together, and then we go home and we're still together.
Yeah.
But we've been married for
8 years.
8 years. So we're kind of past the point where we just try and make each other happy. Now we just do what it takes to make it work.
Sure.
We're more than willing to call each other out on something that we mess up on or something that one of us needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even as we go, we're both still learning, and our roles here are changing. So
yeah, we have to wear many different hats, whether it's just covering administrative stuff, logistical stuff, sales stuff. We just kind of share the hats there, and depending on the day, it'll be I'll go home in the afternoon with the kids, or she'll go home in the afternoon with the kids, so our youngest can nap. And it's just like, all right, we kind of high five each other, like, this is what I got done, this is what needs to get done, this is our list of priorities. And it's just always that good constant flow of communication that we have to maintain. And but it's good, it's manageable. And then we have our employees too that help us out as well. So
yeah,
I think we're both still kind of learning what exactly our roles here are. Because we're, each day something new happens. I'm finding that he's better with working with our bigger vendors. He's really good with customer service. He's really good with managing people. So those are some of the things that he's kind of taken over. So it's definitely a good balance between the two of us. Yeah. He's very extroverted and I'm introverted. So, yeah.
That's a great balance to have.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is.
If you were doing it on your own, or you were doing it on your own, those things where you can, you take this, and especially a married couple where you can delegate that, and that's nice, where you can figure out, here's what Diego's good at.
Yes, absolutely.
And I can do my thing, because you can be happy doing what you're doing. I mean, you're here. This is, you've got your own business, but still to be happy in your business doing things that you want to, that's huge too.
Yes, it is. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes at businesses that people don't realize.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize, even when we were doing it out of our house, until we came here. So, yeah.
It's a lot of fun, though. It's each day brings us a new challenge, and we like facing those challenges together, and to say that now we have a plan in place for this situation. It's always evolving, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you ever find yourself where you're like, if you're going out for date night or whatever, you're like, okay, we're not talking about the business tonight, other stuff, or is that pretty much impossible?
We haven't reached that point yet, luckily. So we did finally have to say, we can't be here that much. We would close at 6, and then we'd still stick around and do stuff here. And I still struggle with it sometimes, but we're trying to get to a point where when we close, we have to go home and we have to spend time with our family, because we could easily spend all day, every day here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
And especially for our boys, just don't want it to become, cumbersome for them to come here, because it's just like, now I'm just going to be, I have to not run around. I can't, chase my little brothers, and especially what our oldest one says. But, we did little things here and there, and in our back office that, kind of entertain them some. So, but we definitely, that's what we ultimately did this so that we can, be our own bosses and kind of be in charge of our own schedules and be more flexible, especially as the kids get older. Appointments, sports, what have you, camps. So this gives us also that form to be more flexible and be more in charge of our daily operations. So.
Yeah, I said that too when I started my business. One of the reasons that I want to do this is I want to get to a point where I can leave on a Tuesday afternoon and go to a basketball game or volleyball game or whatever it is. You have the freedom to do that. So what's one of your favorite parts for each of you about being a small business owner? Now that you've got your own space, you're into it, like you said, figuring different things out. What's your favorite part?
You want to start?
I really like helping people out. So that just goes, how I grew up, my path throughout the Marine Corps, and now this. Prior, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was also an automotive technician here in Kearney. So it was good to always be able to help people. And now here, I'm looking for, a customer comes in, I'm looking for something that has this sort of a meaning, or it's for this, it's for that. I'm sitting there and listening to what they're saying, and I'm like, all right, this would be perfect. And so just finding that perfect, whether it's a gift or condolence, or just something to brighten someone's day up. It's all like really oh gosh, it's hard to explain. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun, just helping them.
It's fulfilling.
Yeah, it's fulfilling, exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
Going off of that, I really love one thing we offer here is repotting services.
Okay.
And kind of plant diagnosis. So people can bring their plants in, we can repot them. And we've had a lot of people send us messages after that just saying that their plant is flourishing. Or we've had someone who brought a peace lily in and it just wasn't doing well, and we repotted it, and now it's finally blooming for the first time in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
So that's always nice to hear that we can help them out, because a lot of those big plants that people get, they get them from funerals.
Sure.
And so they all have a lot of sentimental value.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to help them out.
Yeah.
And then my other favorite part of having a small business is just trying different ways to get people in the door. Like, it's really easy to just say, we're going to have a 10% off sale for the 4th of July. And so this last 4th of July, we tried to think outside the box, and we did hot dogs on the side of the building and did giveaways, and it was a really awesome turnout. So we're already trying to think about how we can do something else like that again.
Yeah.
And we're part of downtown Kearney, barely, but we are.
Yeah.
So sidewalk sales are coming up, so we're already brainstorming, trying to figure out different things to do for that. So
Yeah.
Cruise night, things coming up for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that just kind of ties back into just how fun it's been, and also just that opportunity to help out people and for them to learn. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you handle the social media side of it.
Yes.
Right?
Yep, I do.
Yeah. So that is a whole different dynamic of, it's nice because, you can show specific plants, you can do videos if you want as far as different things, but that's a whole different dynamic of being a small business owner that is so helpful.
Yes.
If you can figure out how to do it right and on a consistent basis.
Yeah, social media is such an awesome low-cost tool that I personally think everyone should take advantage of.
Yeah.
My background before starting this is I went to UNK and got a business administration degree,
Okay.
and then my minor is in marketing and management. So that's kind of where my love for marketing comes from. So, yeah, one of my absolute favorite classes was social media marketing. It was a lot of fun. And even now, I'm getting older, so it's nice having the younger girls working here, kind of keeping us up to date on all the social media trends.
Sure.
So, yeah, even there's always something for us to learn.
Yeah, always something new.
Yes, absolutely.
So going into that, what is something that you wish you were better at when it comes to running your business?
Organization.
Yeah. So both with our time and product, because we get deliveries in of either store stuff like retail, pottery, decorative, home decor stuff, and it just gets kind of tough. We would like to be out here as much as possible with our customers.
Sure.
Because what separates us from the rest is that we can provide that small one-on-one personable experience here.
Sure.
Even with our repotting bar that we have, we're guiding them and teaching them, and then so we have that. That's what's going to continue separating us, is that personable experience. And people like to, especially the ones that we already have relationships established with.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hard to, we'll hear them come in. It's like, oh shoot, I gotta send this email out, or I have to call so and so back, and it's just like, but you want to come out and just talk to them. So that's kind of a barrier within itself, is just organizing our workflow there. It's getting better, but yeah. it's never going to be perfect.
Yeah, the retail side of all of this is just a lot different than I thought it was going to be. So definitely takes some balancing, trying to figure out when you should order product, what you should order. So yeah, that's definitely different.
Well, and the product that you have here is, I mean, it's different than food that you would have, or clothing, or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into keeping your product viable.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we're always watering, always inspecting. So yeah, the plants are definitely different than stocking clothes.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about, I was reading on your website about when you kind of started timing wise, and I just kind of want to get an idea from you guys how the pandemic affected your business, what that looked like for you guys, and kind of when you got into this, if you were still doing that at home during the pandemic, if that kind of pushed you to maybe get into the building here. Just kind of talk about what last year looked like for you and your business.
Okay. COVID didn't really affect us too much because last year, it was probably April. Yeah. That's when we started doing our plant sales outside. So it was open air.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people come. That was a lot of fun. And then we would also do some, they call them plant purges. So we would basically create an online event, post all the plants we had for sale, and then people could claim them.
Okay.
And that went really well too. So, I think the fact that our business was just so untraditional before kind of made it easier during COVID. So we didn't have to worry about having a retail space where,
yeah. I mean, we just kept on chugging along, keeping things simple. Still, we just kind of have that common sense approach.
Yeah.
So we just kind of, kept it simple, and then we allowed for people in town curbside pickup. And they'd coordinate that with us. If it was something where we needed to deliver, we'd make it happen. We're doing whatever we can, and we still do whatever we can to make our customers happy. So. Yeah.
And that is kind of when we transitioned into having a website and listing our plants on the website.
Yep.
So that made it really easy for people to place an order and place it for curbside pickup. So.
Yeah. Has the website made it easier for you, other than because you were doing Facebook before?
Yeah. Yes. Now we don't really use it as much. We have some customers that still order online, and we've had a couple people from out of state order from us.
Okay.
But right now our focus is mainly trying to get all of this running smoothly, and then we definitely want to focus more on our website and making sure we have everything listed, everything ready to go.
Yep.
So
listed with all the dimensions and
descriptions,
weights, everything's got to play a role in that. But we've shipped some stuff to both coasts and then in between. For me, when I get those orders, it's a little bit nerve-wracking.
It is stressful to ship plants.
At the same time, it's kind of exciting because I'm seeing this new challenge. Okay, I got to fit this, and I got to protect it this way, and ultimately, it's all in the presentation. The box is there with our stamps on the outside, and when they open it, that's the first impression they're going to get is what's on top, and then as they dive into it, so it's always nice to look back and read my plants arrived great, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So
I think we got lucky with COVID because the houseplant market really exploded. So we really had that working for us. Yeah.
So I gotta ask this just because I'm thinking of it now. How can you ship any plant? Is that and how fast are you getting them to where they need to go? Is it you're
Well, if it's a plant that we're getting, or if it's an order we're getting, beginning of the week, we don't like to ship towards the end of the week. Thursday, Friday, we'll kind of hold on to them, and we'll let the customer know, like, hey, we're going to ship on Monday.
That's kind of plant industry standards.
Yeah.
Just because you don't want plants sitting in the mail.
Sure.
Over the weekend.
There are some plants that's kind of, maybe we shouldn't ship this because it's a little bit more
delicate.
More delicate, more too much bouncing will definitely end up hurting it. So I think thus far all the plants that we've shipped have been manageable.
Yeah.
Now, like the 5-foot trees that we get in,
those we probably
it's
wouldn't
a
be able to
different
ship.
story.
Yeah.
It's a different story there.
Probably not going to be able to ship that around.
Just by ground is how we have to get that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess I never thought of, and that's cool that you are getting orders from all over the country.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the benefit of having a website, but that is another challenge to kind of figure out, okay, how are we going to...
Yep.
Got to keep this thing alive, and we got to have a good presentation when it gets there, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's a lot of plant businesses that are solely online that ship out everything. And while it is convenient, I think our main focus we want to keep just being here, like face-to-face local customers.
Yeah.
But it is definitely nice to have that backup for shipping.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Or if somebody wants to send out a gift to somebody, they can come in and they can pick out their plant, and we can ship it out to them. And just offering that that service is great too, and it means a lot to people. So
absolutely,
Yep.
Yeah. So, talk about now. When did you get in the building here?
We officially opened end of February.
Okay.
The building was handed over to us end of November.
It was November 4th when we got it.
Oh, beginning of November.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, if you could go back and give yourself any advice, would you, or would you just let things play out as they have? Be anything that you would change?
I would probably tell myself not to be scared of expanding, because we went back and forth a lot on whether we should do this or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think we can both say now that we're glad that we did.
Yep. Kind of like what Abbie said is, I wish I would have said it sooner or took it more serious sooner, because here we've been married 8 years. I was in the Marine Corps for just shy of 9 years, and then at the time that we got married, I was just really diving deep into that career, and I got back from Afghanistan. We got engaged, and then a year later we got married. And it was just always like, okay, where's the Marine Corps going to send me? And that I have to drag you with me. And it was always just mission first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of put my family to the back burner, for lack of better terms.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wish we could have done this sooner, or I could have just gotten into it sooner to pay it back, to pay it forward a little bit sooner. Because, all her dreams, everything she wanted to do is just like got put in the back burner just for me to... No, I got to go here. I got to go do this.
Yeah.
And so it was great. It was a great experience, but I think that's where I'm sitting at too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice to be settled and be here. And,
Yep.
And slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
So if one of your boys or one of your employees, anyone comes up and they say, "Hey, I want to start a small business," what advice do you have for me?
To just do it.
Yep.
I actually talked one of my best friends into starting her own business. So, I guess you could say I'm a bad influence or a good influence, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
But my dad has his own business too, so I've always wanted to have my own business and to be an entrepreneur. So, anytime someone asks, I always tell them to just do it. And I'm happy to always send people whatever links they need to help them start a business. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that?
Oh,
No.
you nailed it.
Was there ever any hesitation? Was it you that was pushing for a location, or did you both go back and forth, or maybe you wanted and then you weren't, and vice versa, or was it pretty much you were in it you had the same vision the whole time.
Yeah, it was pretty much mutual.
Yeah.
I know for me, I didn't like hauling out the setups just for a little bit, because then it's stuff from the inside of the house in that office area on the grow shelves, and then stuff in the backyard in the greenhouse, which I bought her a greenhouse and she built it, so she assembled it, and but yeah, it's just always that I'm like, I want something more permanent.
Yeah.
Like, as I started getting into it, doing the sales there, and I started learning all the names, where now our checkup is more streamlined. Before then, I had to look at the plant, figure out what the name was, and put it in. But yeah, I was like, yeah, this is kind of fun. It's kind of cool, and like that's when I started really feeling that sense of I'm helping somebody find the perfect plant, the perfect gift, what have you.
That first year that I started doing it, I was pregnant with our youngest, and it was so hot. And I would set appointments up with people, shuffle them to our backyard, so I'd have to make sure everything from our dogs was picked up and that everything was presentable back there. Mm-hmm. And so that's when we started doing it out front, and that was still a lot more convenient, but it was still kind of a pain.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we both just kind of decided that it would be really cool to have an actual building where people could come during normal business hours. We wouldn't have to bring people into our private residence.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. Diego, did you start out helping, like, was it out of necessity? Did you volunteer? Was it Abbie said, hey, I need some help. Can you help me out with this?
I think it was a little bit of everything. I mean, I could see that she needed help. I could see that it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's happening in my driveway, so as much as I want to just stay inside in the AC, like I was like, it was fun. So we'd go out there. Our oldest would set up a popsicle stand.
Yeah, he wants to have his own business too already.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where I'm happy to help. It was good to help, and especially where I already mentioned, I just wanted to pay it forward,
Yeah.
And so yeah, I got into it, and I dove in, and then I kind of just waited in the water for a little bit, and I got into it deeper, and now here we are, where I'm just like, I can walk in the mornings, unlock the door, and just look around like, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So,
did that surprise you at all that he dove in head first?
A little bit. I never would have pictured him as a plant guy. So, but it's nice that we both have this mutual love now. I mean, obviously we have other things in common, but
yeah. But I get what you're talking about.
Yeah,
looking around here,
it's awesome coming into work every day.
Yeah, it's a cool place to hang out. I can see myself hanging out here every day.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Tell us where we can find out more about you, social media, website, address. Just give us the lowdown.
So our physical location is 203 East 25th Street in Kearney. We are on Facebook and Instagram.
Our website's linked on there, so it'll take you to it.
rootedplantco.com.
Yep.
Okay.
You can also give us a call here on the building. We're on Google. I think that's where our map's at, and our location information, phone numbers, website as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Diego. Thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. This place is so cool. So this is my first time being in here, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. If you haven't been in here, come see them. They've got a great setup here, and I'm sure you're going to find something that you're going to love. And if you don't, just ask them, and I'm sure they'll be able to help
Absolutely.
you out. Yeah. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.